Sonic's Greenhouse Adventures Season 5, Chapter 14, The First Night. Modern Sonic's point of view.
Now that Boom Shadow was gone, I realized something. Hey guys, where are we sleeping tonight? I asked seriously.
I have an idea. Follow me.
Boom Amy said as she started walking towards the woods. Despite being confused, we followed her.
All right, here we are.
Boom Amy said once we stopped in front of the front door of a laboratory base.
Are you insane? You really think us staying at Eggman's place is a good idea?
Movie Shadow said defensively. Immediately, Movie Sonic started to slowly and shakily back away from the base. His eyes were wide with fear. Movie Sonic, are you okay? I asked carefully.
No, I can't do that. I won't.
Movie Sonic cried as images similar to those of right before he arrived at Dawn headquarters came flooding back. As this was happening, his quill sparked with electricity. Boom Amy was too focused on knocking on Eggman's door to notice. After stepping back a few more steps, Movie Sonic dashed off.
Sonic, wait!
Marina cried and dashed after him. As Movie Sonic ran, going to his cave in the woods was the first thing that came to his mind. These disturbing thoughts kept him from thinking straight, otherwise he would have remembered he is not in Green Hills. So he just ran into the first cave he saw. Once inside, he practically curled up into a ball, trying to calm down and make the horrible what-ifs go away. Little did he know he was trespassing. Boom Shadow stormed up to him.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Boom Shadow demanded furiously. Movie Sonic jumped a little, not expecting for someone else to be there.
Leave me alone.
Movie Sonic cried at the top of his lungs with fearful, teary eyes. His lightning intensified.
Yikes. What is that?
Boom Shadow asked as he backed away, fearing he'd get electrocuted if he didn't.
It's the reason I'm in here. Where there are signs of it about to lose control, I'd go to the cave I used to live in before I met Mom and Dad. And I was too scared to go near Eggman's base.
Movie Sonic said right before going back to sobbing again. But then he suddenly stopped and looked up at Boom Shadow thoughtfully.
Wait, what are you doing here?
Movie Sonic asked curiously. Marina's point of view.
Once I caught up enough to Sonic to see that he ran into this beautiful cave, I stopped at the entrance and carefully listened in when I saw Boom Shadow there.
I live here.
Boom Shadow said simply as he folded his arms over his chest.
What? Are you hiding from someone?
Sonic said in deep concern as he stood back up and wiped his tears away.
Wait, what are you talking about? I live here because I like it here. It's nice and quiet, unlike the village.
Boom Shadow asked, completely confused. I could see Sonic lost the ability to answer, so I went in. Well, you remember when he said his Mobius was too dangerous to live on anymore? Well, do you know how old he was on that day? And how long it was before he met the family he has now? Go on, guess, I said as I marched up to Boom Shadow standing protectively in front of Sonic.
12, and for a few weeks.
Boom Shadow guessed with uncertainty. Not even close, I'm afraid. He was only 3 and was 10 years. He didn't have the luxuries you do, and he had to make sure no one saw him and dumpster dive over the things he needed. In fact, let me show you the day he came to Earth, I said as I took out my phone and pulled up the clip. After he watched it, he stumbled back until his back hit the wall of the cave. Yep, that's how I reacted too. That's right, he was a toddler and no kid of any age, especially that young, should have to go through that and 10 years of isolation, I said as Sonic stepped forward.
Yeah, I cried myself to sleep most nights and had nightmares on the others. But on that day, I cried with agonizing screams for hours and hours to the point I lost my voice for a week.
Sonic added as his voice went from quiet and timid to angry and loud. I quickly ran over and hugged him. But not anymore, nor ever again. Are you okay, Sonic? What specifically made you run off? I asked as I rubbed his ears to calm him down, and as always, it worked immediately.
Yeah, it's just, you remember the gun incident? Well, as they were taking me there, a whole bunch of what-if scenarios went through my head once I was in their clutches. They came back, only it was Boom, Eggman, doing those things to you, my brothers and Mom and Dad, too.
Sonic replied as he hugged me. This horrified me, so I kissed him. I love you so much, Sonic. We all do. We won't let that happen. So come on, let's head back. The others are worried sick about you, I said as we ended the hug.
Okay, thanks for coming after me.
Sonic said with a loving smile. Anything for you, my love. Race you, I said, and we dashed off.
Movie Shadow's point of view.
Several months after Sonic dashed off, he finally came back. Are you okay, little girl? What happened? I asked as I hugged him in relief.
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks to Marina. I just had really disturbing what-ifs scaring me away.
Sonic said as he pulled Marina to his side. Well, thanks for helping him, Marina, I said happily. Just then the front door of Boom Eggman's base opened.
What brings you all here?
Boom Eggman asked in curious confusion. Well, we're kinda stuck in this dimension until Boomtails repairs his dimensional portal machine. So we need a place to sleep. Is it okay if we stay here? I asked seriously.
Well, sure, just don't touch any of my machinery.
Boom Eggman said seriously.
Not to worry, we promise not to touch anything.
Sonic said as he playfully saluted.
Good. Now come on in. Orbot will give you a tour.
Boom Eggman said and we went in.
Welcome in. Follow me and I'll show you around.
Orbot, a floating red robot, said politely.
As they eat dinner, they decided all where they would be sleeping specifically. Tom, Maddie, and Annika would be in one room, Sonic and Marina in another, then Shadow and Silver, and finally Marn, Sonic, and Longclaw.
Well, good night, guys.
Movie Sonic said as they all headed off to bed.
Good night, Sonic.
Marina said and she kissed him. Later that night, Sonic was tossing and turning in his sleep. In his subconscious, it was another Sonic dimension. This one looked depressing. Suddenly, Tom and Maddie were seen running for their lives as robots were chasing them. However, they were worn out from all the running, so the robots caught up to them. Once they did, they took them to a very sinister-looking building. Once inside, they were taken to this world's Robotnik.
More subjects. I can always use more slaves.
Robotnik said as the robots forced them into a machine.
What is this? And what do you mean by slaves?
Maddie asked, completely terrified.
This is the roboticizer. It will take away your free will and turn you into my robotic slaves.
Robotnik said right before turning on the roboticizer. The couple screamed in complete agony as the process happened. Once finished, they were completely silent and expressionless. Movie Sonic's point of view.
That's when I woke up screaming. It took me several minutes to calm down and become aware of my surroundings. I looked over to Marina's bed and sighed in relief when I saw she was still asleep. However, I had to go to Mom and Dad, for I couldn't bear being apart from them any longer. So I ran to the room they were staying in as quietly as I could. My plan was to simply sneak into their bed and sleep in between them. However, Annika woke up and looked up at me in concern.
Sonic, are you okay?
Annika asked as tears formed in her eyes, and she quietly whimpered. I immediately picked her up and started to soothe her. Shh, I'm okay, just had a nightmare, I whispered as I kissed her forehead. Annika finally calmed down, and as I was putting her back in the crib Boom Eggman provided for her, I heard Mom and Dad beginning to stir in their sleep. I turned around and saw them sitting up. I felt like a deer in headlights as flashes of them roboticized came to the front of my mind, causing me to cry and tremble.
What's the matter, baby?
Mom asked with concern in her eyes. I lost my ability to speak, so I just dashed onto the bed, hugging her and Dad.
Sonic?
Dad said in confusion as they both hugged me back. Thankfully, I found my voice again. I had a nightmare, but it was different. It had nothing to do with my past trauma. You and Dad were captured by a Robotnik we never even heard of. He had this awful machine called the Roboticizer. It turns organic beings from flesh to metal and removes their free will. He used it on you. You screamed in agony. And when the process was done, the silence was deafening, and you were expressionless and looked like empty husks of yourselves. I said shakily as I hugged them tightly.
Oh, baby, it'll be okay. Because you won't let that happen, right?
Mom said as she rubbed my ear. Yeah, I know. But can I sleep with you guys tonight? I asked with pleading eyes.
But of course, sweetie. You and your siblings are always welcome to do that, no matter what.
Mom said as they began to make room for me in between them. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I said as I got myself situated between them with a smile on my muzzle.
We love you, Sonic.
They said as they petted my quills and ears to soothe me and laid back down. I love you guys too, I said in return as I fell asleep peacefully.
Meanwhile, Boom Eggman was viewing all of this through the security monitors.
Sir, why are you watching those?
Orbot asked cautiously.
I was just curious, that's all. I was about to send you to help Movie Sonic, but as you can see, there was no need. It's still hard to wrap my head around the fact that there's a Sonic with human parents.
Boom Eggman said as he continued to observe them, so perplexed.
Indeed, and yet look at them. They are so happy together.
Orbot commented as he took a closer look.
They sure do. How could their world's version of me be so cruel to such a sweet family like that?
Boom Eggman said as he frowned sadly. Hours later, Boom Eggman suddenly heard Movie Sonic screaming horribly. He looked at the camera feeds and saw he was doing it in his sleep, causing Tom and Maddie to wake up. There was lightning flowing through his quills and was getting more intense the longer his screaming went on.
Sonic, wake up. It's okay, we're safe now.
Maddie cried as she tried to find a way to wake Movie Sonic up without being sharked by the lightning. Tom decided to risk it.
Sonic, wake up, please.
Tom cried as he hugged him, knowing the possible pain the lightning might cause him. Finally, he woke up, and Tom was unharmed.
Mom, Dad.
Movie Sonic said shakily as tears fell down his face.
Yes, it's us. What happened, baby?
Maddie asked as she pulled Movie Sonic into her arms. Movie Sonic's point of view.
I was about to answer when I heard Marina screaming in agony. I'll explain later, I said quickly as I dashed out of the room and went to where Marina was sleeping, only to find her doing it in her sleep. Marina, wake up! It's just a nightmare. It isn't real, I cried as I shook her to wake her up. As I was doing this, I heard several footsteps coming into the room. However, I was too focused on trying to help my girlfriend wake up to worry about that. Thankfully, she woke up, and boy was she shaken up.
Sonic? Shadow? Silver?
Marina asked shakily as tears fell down her face.
Movie Shada's point of view.
When both me and Silver were startled awake by screaming, we immediately ran to where it was coming from. We arrived just as Sonic was trying to wake Marina up, who was screaming in her sleep. Then she woke up, staring at all of us in confusion, as she was regaining awareness of her surroundings, trying to catch her breath.
Marina, what happened?
Sonic asked her gently as he hugged her comfortingly.
I was for you living the moment. I was in Robotnik's power draining machine. Only this time, there was no one there to shut it down before.
Marina said but couldn't continue as she began to sob. All three of us hugged her immediately. It's okay. You don't have to tell us now, if you're not ready, I said reassuringly. Marina then shook her head.
You guys remember when those power neutralizing cuffs were put on me? The machine did the same thing.
Marina explained once she calmed down. That's when I realized what she was implying. Oh gosh, that thing could have killed you, I said as I felt a wave of nausea come over me. Sonic hugged her even closer.
Oh, Marina, I'm so sorry. I'm such an idiot. I should have realized that the moment those cuffs were put on you.
Sonic said, facepalming himself.
No, it's Robotnik's fault. He should have figured that out. He's got an insane high IQ, after all.
Marina said seriously. Marina's right, Sonic. Please, don't blame yourself, I added reassuringly.
Okay, I won't. Marina, are you fine to go back to sleep?
Sonic asked gently.
Almost. And I'm asking this out of confusion. Why were you not here earlier?
Marina asked carefully. This got mine and Silver's attention immediately.
I had the most bizarre and horrifying nightmare ever. It was another Robotnik using a terrible machine on Mom and Dad. It turned their flesh into metal, took away their free will, and made them empty husks of themselves. I couldn't bear being separated from them when I woke up. So, I was sleeping with them.
Sonic said fearfully. Our jaws dropped, to say the least. I felt like I was actually going to throw up. Silver seemed to notice this.
Whoa, Shadow, you don't look so good. You should get to the bathroom, and fast.
Silver said seriously. I just nodded and headed off.
So what woke you up?
Marina asked as she comforted Movie Sonic by scratching his ears.
Well, I had the same nightmare as you, only there was no risk of dying. But the pain was unbearable and wouldn't stop.
Movie Sonic replied shakily.
Oh, Sonic, I'm so sorry. Just one more thing. Can you stay with me until I'm asleep?
Marina asked nervously.
But, of course, Marina.
Movie Sonic sighed without hesitation.
Well, good night, guys. See you in the morning.
Silver said as he hugged them and then headed back to bed. Once Marina was sleeping peacefully again, Movie Sonic headed back to Tom and Maddie. Modern Sonic's point of view.
I woke up when I heard what sounded like someone throwing up in the bathroom nearby. I immediately ran to the bathroom and knocked on it. Hello? Who's ever in there? Are you okay? I asked nervously. Instead of an answer, I heard them heaving a lot. Then I heard the sink turn on and the sound I recognized as the transformation to Murhog. So I couldn't take it anymore and rushed in. I saw it was Movie Shadow. Movie Shadow? What happened? I asked as I handed him a towel to dry his tail off with.
I just heard the most horrifying nightmare premise I've ever heard from Movie Sonic, and couldn't hold my nausea back.
Movie Shadow said as he caught his breath. Then he told me what Movie Sonic said. Yikes. No wonder you threw up. I said, completely stunned.
Yeah, but what's strange about it is that it came out of nowhere. It was too detailed for a world none of us have even heard of. Something isn't right about it.
Movie Shadow said as we left the bathroom. We'll figure this out in the morning. We all need as much sleep as we can get, I said reassuringly.
I guess you're right. Thanks for coming to check on me.
Movie Shadow said with a small smile. No problem. Are you sure you can make it back on your own after what just happened? I asked in concern.
Yeah, I'll be fine, Mater.
Movie Shadow sighed as he gave me a thumbs up. Okay, good night, Movie Shadow, I said happily.
Night, Modern.
Movie Shadow said in return, and we split up to head to bed.
Movie Shadow's point of view.
The moment I re-entered the room, Silver hugged me.
Are you okay, Shadow? When I realized you were going to throw up, I got so worried.
Silver cried as he ended the hug. Yeah, I'm fine, Silver. Although, it was a good thing Modern Sonic was there, or else I would have been stuck in my Murhog form for quite a while. I wasn't thinking when I went to go wash up afterwards, I replied reassuringly.
The one con to the Murhog thing, triggering the transformation is oversensitive.
Silver said playfully. Yeah, no kidding, I said in agreement.
Yet you can say it's trigger happy.
Silver said in between his stickery. Oh great, Dad's jokes are rubbing on you, I said as I playfully rolled my eyes right before laughing with him. Once we calmed down, we wished each other goodnight and went to bed.
Maddie's point of view.
Several minutes later, Sonic returned. Sonic, what happened? I asked gently in concern.
Marina had a horrible nightmare. It was the same one I woke up from right before, only way worse.
Sonic said as he joined us on the bed. What do you mean? I asked in concern.
It gave us all a realization. If it weren't for my dark form, Marina could have died.
Sonic said and sobbed into my chest. Shh. It's okay, Sonic. We're all safe now, I said as I held him close. After several minutes, Sonic went limp in my arms as I could hear him snoring softly. He must have been so emotionally drained. So after I kissed his forehead, we fell back asleep.